Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, marketing, for inviting me to be a part of the TIC-TOC. I'm excited to get on and talk to the partners. We talk to an awful lot of suppliers throughout the day, but we don't get to talk to as many partners as we want to, so I'm excited to get on with you guys today. So as Sarah mentioned, I'm the VP of Supplier Management. We manage the supplier relationships and helping drive strategy with all of them. If you were on when me and Brad were just talking, we also work with them to improve process to make it easier for everybody to do more business together. My team is also responsible for a lot of the tools. So think the information in GeoQuote, on the commissions table, in the matrices, the fiber maps, and all the collateral in the back office. And so that's what we tackle on a day-to-day basis. We also look at our portfolio and look where we have certain gaps. Maybe we're missing a particular solution, and we'll go and seek out suppliers to fill that need to work to bring them on board. So some of you may have noticed that in the past year, we've brought on an awful lot of suppliers, or so it seems, but it's just it's working to round out the portfolio to give you more solutions. So bringing that up, in fact, we actually have 200 suppliers, or over 200 suppliers in the portfolio. And I ran some numbers just before this call of how many exactly do we have in some specific categories that we're focused on, right? So network, we have 65. Contact center, I pulled 23 that fell into that space. UCaaS, 33. Cloud, 41. Mobility, 24. SD-WAN, 7. So that's a lot of suppliers. So how can we help you as a partner, as you're partnered with us, to make decisions on any one of them? And so I think it's important to take a step back and feel kind of like as we do as a consumer, right? How do we make our purchasing decisions on a day-to-day basis? If I want a restaurant to go eat, or if I want to know what movie to go see, how do we do that on a daily basis? And so I feature just a couple of my favorite apps, right? Yelp, I use Yelp for everything, especially when I'm traveling, of what restaurants are near me and what are people like me saying about them. And Amazon, I live and breathe that. I have 2 little girls, right? So I don't want to take them to the store, so I get everything that I can from Amazon. So I'm always reading the reviews on what are the best brands out there. How can I make one decision over the other? And then I put this review up there because I think it's hysterical on this Kindle waterproof case. And so sometimes I read them for entertainment, which is sometimes sad, I guess. And then there's this review. So I think a lot of you have seen this. If not, it's actually in your back office. So we have a carrier rating. Years ago, we put together kind of a scorecard for the suppliers, and you guys fed into that, right? After you submitted an order in the back office, we gave you a survey with these questions. And we took that and put it in as a score. Now, as the channel has evolved and expanded, and we've got more contacts with the suppliers now than ever, it doesn't work so well anymore, right? So we haven't really used it in years, but I still understood the value of it. So the supplier management team went back and said, this is still really important, and the partners want to know, and the partners want to see what is everybody saying about the suppliers. But as we were looking to revamp all of it, we said, what else? Like, what else could be important to the partners to know? And so this is what we came up with. And I would love all of your input if we're missing anything. But we put together kind of the current technology stack is important to know about, the technology roadmap, the ease of doing business, the sub-agent experience, the end customer experience, and the Telarus Participation. So we've sat on a mountain of data for really years, especially when it comes to the ease of doing business. And the problem with this is that the ease of doing business is when a supplier was coming in, we would reach out to the field sales team, maybe some partners, the operations team, like the partner support managers that are in the weeds every day with them, and we would get feedback of what are some pain points, what can we address with these suppliers. So we would get the information, we'd go into the meeting, we'd tell them what the issues were, we'd bring up, some pain points, we'd highlight escalations, they'd, take a lot of notes, and promise to get better, and then they'd leave, and we would have a meeting 3 months later, and we'd go through it again. Well, the problem with that is that we didn't have a baseline. We didn't know if they were even following up on anything we gave them from the last meeting. We don't know if they were improving in any of these areas that we had told them about. And so our goal is to take information on every single one of these areas, put a score around it, and tie it together. And so when we have a meeting with them quarter after quarter, we can see if they're improving or if they're just not listening to what we're saying at all. So I want to get into just a little bit more detail on this. So the current technology stack, and before I get into how we score each one of these categories, it's important to note that right now we're focused on putting this information together on the UCaaS providers and the contact center providers. And so what we've done on the current technology stack, for instance, is you saw how many contact center, or sorry, UCaaS providers we had, right? How do we figure that out and see if one technology is better than the other? Well, I don't think it's necessarily fair for us to say, let's compare Nextiva's technology to RingCentral's technology. It's a different space and it's a different need. And so what we found is that the technology is pretty comparable when you get into the size of the actual organization or the supplier. And so what we went off of is how many seats are deployed with these suppliers. So for instance, and we put them into bands. So for instance, we took the top largest organizations. The first band has 6 suppliers in it. What I do is I take those 6 suppliers and I send it to our engineers and I send it to our business development team. And I say, based on your understanding of the technology, right? They're engineers, they're supposed to know everybody's technology. But based on your understanding of the current technology, how it works today with these suppliers, I want you to rank them in order of who has the best, from best to worst. When they gave us that feedback back, we were able to put a score around that, right? So we could see who has better technology from the opinion of our engineers. On the technology roadmap, it's very similar, right? We look at, do we know, or are they educating us enough on the steps they're taking to be a leader in their space, right? What's coming? What's next? And do we think that it's going to be better than the other suppliers? And so we rank those against, those people in those bands and give it a score. Now, the ease of doing business I just mentioned, right? It's day to day. Is it an experience that we want to do over and over and over again? So what we've done is we've taken a survey that we give to all of our PSMs, and we ask them things that they feel very important on if they want to do business with a supplier. And there are things that I hope are important to you guys as well, right? Like, do they have a focus on the channel? Are they channel friendly? Or do we have to like hit our heads against the wall and run into the direct guys that are trying to steal our accounts? Also, what is the time to respond? Not only on just getting a quote and saying I need a quote and they come back quick with that, but if we have an escalation, how long does it take them to resolve that? And then at the end of the day, what are their commissions? Is it competitive to what everybody else is doing? But also just as important, right, if not more, is are they paying it accurately and are they paying it consistently? The fourth one is going to be the sub-agent experience, and this is where I'm going to ask all of you to help us, right? We value your experience because your experience may be completely different than what we've went through. And we want to know, are you engaged with the local channel manager, right? Do you feel like they give you enough education? And so what we have done here is we've actually partnered with a third party called Pi Research. Some of you may actually know Doug Tolley. He was the former VP of sales for Telarus for a while. And he's went out and he's the president of this company called Pi Research that has a really great formula, a series of questions that they ask the partners, and it can put a score around that. And we've aligned with our scoring, right? So we could tie that right into the overall score of what the supplier has and feeds it into this. The end customer experience. So we don't talk to the end users. We'll never talk to your customers. We'll never call and ask them how their experience was. So we depend on you guys for this for now. And this also comes from PI research. So Doug has a couple questions within the questions that he has that picks out what your customer experience was. Was it at the end of the day, did your customer get what was promised to them, what they asked for, and did it have an impact on their business? The sixth one is going to be Telarus Participation, and that is, are they in our tools? Are they in GeoQuote for you guys to see? Are they in our matrices for you guys to weed out and know that they're even an option? Are they at our events? Are they going out and meeting you guys face to face? Do they have a regular cadence with us? Is there a great executive alignment and relationship there? Do they run, incentives for you guys? Are they engaged with you guys? Do they give us customer leads, or do they do joint recruitment efforts with us? Those are the things that we take into consideration. We put a score on all of that and we bundle it up, and this is an example. So I met with a supplier earlier this week, and this is what we went over for Q3. So this is how they ranked, and this was a UCAS provider. But look at the difference between how our ease of doing business, right? The perception of the PSMs and the sub-agent experience was drastically different. And I'm afraid that a lot of that time, I rarely know that, because how many of you, when you have a bad experience with a supplier, you just say, I'm not selling you anymore, there's other options there, and you go in and sell somebody else. And I don't blame you for that. Honestly, that a lot of the time that's what I would do too. But I don't know how we would make the suppliers be better at what they're doing without knowing certain information. So that's why we absolutely want your participation in this. So what is the process for partners participating? It's really simple. It's a 30-minute phone call with the PI research team. In order to access the data, so the thought is, as you go through and work with Doug Tolley on providing him feedback, he'll provide feedback to you in return on suppliers based off the feedback he's received from other partners. Now, it's completely anonymous, so anything that you say, you guys could say customer names, and he scrubs it all out. So anything identifying is completely removed, but we do ask for ongoing participation. And obviously, you have to be an active Telarus partner to participate. You have to obviously sell the suppliers in order to know what the experience is. And then future surveys, it could be the phone or the via web. We'd make it really easy for you. So what's in it for you as a partner? This is a Telarus exclusive product that we're going to be, rolling out. No other master will have this tool. So PI Research is only partnered with us, and the feedback will be updated regularly. So you'll be able to see kind of the trends. As are they getting better? Are they listening to you guys, right? And then also it's feedback in aggregate to help the suppliers improve. So as I mentioned earlier, when we put a score up to suppliers, they go nuts. If we come with feedback, like they take it and it hurts for a minute, but do they go away and do anything with it? But if they actually have a score tied to it, then they do everything in their power to get better, right? And that's what we want to work with them on, is to pull those levers to get a higher score, to just improve everybody's experience in working with them. And so the first report is going to be out to the partners and the suppliers in January of 2020. As I mentioned, it's going to be the UCAS and the contact center, and then we'll expand from there. I think the security one will be done in June. We are going to be working on some networking one as well, so we'll be able to share some of that information with you, as obviously if you want to participate in this. But we think this is just, kind of game-changing in a way. So this is my contact information. I welcome you guys to reach out to me directly at any time, any feedback on anything that you saw there. If we missed something, or if there's something that you would like to see that's important to you, I absolutely welcome that feedback, and we can tie it into what we're doing. And then Doug Tolley's information, he welcomes you to reach out to him directly as well. So if you're interested in participating and giving him feedback, then there's his information as well. And now I'll open it up for Q&A. Does anyone have any questions?
It doesn't look like it, Paula.
Okay. Well, if nobody has any questions, and if you think of anything after, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.